YouTube model building community, Chris Chapman coming at you from the Rusty Nuts Model Shop. Drinking some coffee today, working on a kit. Oh, it doesn't get much better than that. Today, we're going to work on the exhaust. We're also going to be working on the motor. Going to do this series to where it comes out together. For the next phase, I believe we are up to number 8. For those that have been following along, thank you very much. We're kind of having fun doing this one, and the tutorials and stuff have been kind of exciting, and I thank everybody for the kind words and for following along. Today I'm going to show a way that I like to do different techniques and stuff, and we'll be doing some of this on the body as well later, but for right now we'll just focus on the exhaust. Don't need a lot. I get some of it down here. Dog hair's in the way. And what I like to do, I'm going to do sections at a time. I set it on the desk here, which is going to be kind of hard, so I'll have to do this. I like to turn around and just sporadically kind of just pack it in there in areas. And yes, I like to get it all over, even in an area that I sit there and I know for a fact it will never be seen. And the reason I like to do that is because that's how it would really be. I got rust all over on my Harley out there that you just don't see from riding it in snowstorms and rainstorms and on salty roads. And even though I clean it every time it rains and I ride it in a rainstorm, it still doesn't get up underneath the seat and get certain areas of the frame. Well, you can see I'm just kind of dabbing it on in places. Come down here and hit this area. This is one that you really kind of want to goober it up, because these exhausts, even nowadays, the exhaust after some use all turn corroded and goobered up. If they've been sitting on a vehicle long enough and been drove in storms and things, there we go. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to give us some rusting texture. So it's going to look like metal and parts of the rust are flaking and peeling off. This is one of them things that takes some time though, because after you get it on here, you've got to let it all dry fully. Again, it's not going to be sitting up underneath there, but truth is it's there and it'll be wrapping around. So if you put it on the back side where it's not going to be seen, then it will have the effect that it's wrapping around. There we go. You don't want to overdo it on this. You want it to just be kind of you don't want the whole thing to be bumpy and garbagey looking, because we still got to put color on there and allow the rust itself to add some effect. Now once I get it on there, while it's still wet, I like to just go in there with my fingers, kind of pat it down so it's on there nice and tight. Now you can kind of see how the effect that we have out of it. And this is really going to be hard for the camera to pick up. So when we get this done, I will take some pictures of it with the completed effect. Now, we're going to stick that right there. And we're going to let it kind of just hang out overnight and dry. Tomorrow we'll hit it with some sandpaper and stuff and kind of knock some of that down. Get it where kind of smooths out but still leaves a bumpy texture to it. Like I said, we'll be doing that on some of the body panels as well. So that brings us over here for a refresher cap. I just got done painting this, the red oxide or whatever primer, and then I put hairspray on it. The hairspray is to make it to where did I put it? So get up there. So this way we can go ahead and put our paint on it. This one here, I want to do some detail to kind of show some dirt and grime and stuff, just more effect to it, of which everybody, you know, uses their little drills and put spark plugs in them. So we're going to go ahead and drill out. And I like to do the drilling on these things after I get it primed, because it kind of does a little bit of a chipping, flaking kind of appearance around where the plug wires go. But we will not be putting the plug wires on and stuff until after we get the chipping effect done. That's a good thing about these old flatheads. It has a little dips where the plugs go in, so it's very easy to calculate exactly where to drill your holes. So there's our first 4. This is also the way I set it up and wire all of my motors. I usually like to put the paint on and then drill it, and then you guys will see how I do the boots and stuff. Take that off for a minute. You guys have seen this done. Most of you guys already know and do this anyway. But now as I paint this, these motors for this kind of stuff is really good for sponging also. You know, we just might have to just sponge the tranny just to show you how good it can be done. Maybe the bottom down here. Man, that's just a pretty color though. Let's see here. That better. Kind of an old dirty, grungy looking motor. Okay. For the motor, oh, I must have put it away. One sec. We will be using, sorry about that, my Holly Branch Green. It's a dark green color. Oh, I forgot it. One of my cardinal rules is clean stuff up as you go. There we go, just want to make sure that doesn't get a bunch of stuff covered up on it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add, where are you? Come on, buddy. There we go. Then I'll grab my windshield washer fluid and I go not quite a 50-50 mix on it. Close, but not quite. Use my... Now this is a mixer. I had this old paintbrush and it was kind of a... didn't work real well. It just, to be honest with you, sucked. It's a cheap one. So what I did is I put some super glue in it. And I thickened it up and everything and made it to where it's hard, but on the end I left it a little bit soft. It's what I use to mix my paints. And so for these little tiny things, just to mix it up, I like to have a good mix on it like that. Paint wipes off of it very, 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 very easy. Like that. And just a quick little splash in the bath. There you go, nice and clean and perfect little mixer for this kind of stuff. Throw that off there. I'm going to use this brush here. We're just going to do light coats. I like to hand paint my motors like this. My shiny ones and stuff, I'll airbrush, but for the little bit that's going to be done here, I'm going to be chipping it off. And so it doesn't need to be perfect. And so using the brush and stuff, if it doesn't get all the way down inside all the nooks and crannies, that's perfectly fine. That's why, like on these rusty things, to use a brush like this on it. And you don't have to go all out to make sure everything's perfect. Now down inside, like I got these little seams. You can see them right up in here on both sides. I want to make sure I get the paint down in there pretty good there, because I want to use a wash to kind of dirty it up in there. And if I turn around and do a brown or a black wash on the rust, it doesn't show up as good as it does if you've got the contrasting motor color underneath it. You can see how it's thin, hopefully. Now, back in the day, they painted these motors and transmissions together. So they all had the same paint. Oil pan, everything was all painted at the same time together. Not everything's going to get painted up here. Because I do want to leave it looking like some rust is kind of built up. Let's put a little bit more on up in this area. Make that a little bit thicker color down here, another coat. Hey, wake up, people. Almost done here. Okay, once I get that completed to that point, get that cleaned off. I'm going to use a hair dryer, so I'm going to be out of screenshot for a sec. Okay, there's our green. Got it where it's kind of thin in areas, which is good because that's where I want to take off the bulk of the color. But while we're at it right here, just for the fun of it, it's hiding back here. Since this is already dry, we can hold on to this. Oh. Didn't want to go on there right. We're going to add a little bit more color to the transmission area. And we're going to use the actual color, rust color that's on there, just kind of accent it with a little bit of yellow here. Again, you just pat it out and then just kind of dab it on there. Try to get the corners, the edges. Kind of want to get a pretty good covering on it. Keep in mind, we've got other colors to put on. So now you kind of see how the rest is sticking out. Got some yellow on it. You can turn around and dab that. Try to get as much of that yellow off. So we're going to be using the yellows and the oranges on our exhaust system as well. Almost had a little bit of a showing of what not to do with leaving an open bottle of paint underneath me. Don't want that. See, now I'll just dab on some orange over the yellow. Get the back side over here. Now you can see how, hopefully, it's starting to look goopy and dirty and icky. I gotta come up with a whole bunch of words. We'll turn around, get rid of the orange paint in the sponge. At this point, we will come in here, dip it in our pre-mixed in green. And we want to put this on kind of depending on how you really want it to look. A lot of green for less rusty looking motor. Less green if it's not as gunked up, obviously. Oops, I'm out of screen again. I apologize. And this is an easy way. Turn around and show some gunked up. You can see the rust colors coming through. A little bit of yellow, a little bit of rust, a little bit of orange. And you still got the paint coming up off of the top of it that hasn't quite rusted away. Alright, apparently this is shut off on me. My memory was full from other videos that I was saving on there to splice together, so I had to transfer everything over to the computer. Not aware of it, I went ahead and kept on going. So what I did is I finished adding some green paint over the orange and the yellow that I put on there. Then I turned around and I used a varnish, polyurethane satin finish, and sealed it up and then dried it with the hair dryer. So now I can handle this portion of the model and the motor without worrying about rubbing any of the paint off of it. So, trying to keep these down under 30 minutes each, I'm going to go ahead and end this one, get it uploaded, and while it uploads I will work on the next section of the motor part due, and we will actually get into the chipping. It's all ready to go and everything. So as a recap, we got the putty on this, got color on this, and we'll have more coming up. Again, Chris Chapman, Rusty Nuts Model Shop, coming at you, and we will have another part coming up here shortly. Thanks for watching. Bye.